Another place that S&P is very strong is in ventilation for parking garages,
Right.
parking decks.
Yeah.
You're going to have your exhaust fans, your sidewall exhaust, your sidewall supply fans, and then also now in many cases a set of fans inside the garage to move the air from one side to the other, and those are called jet fans. S&P has a full line of jet fans and garage exhaust fans, supply fans, and we can also help the engineer or the designer design it so that it moves air properly and that the fans are placed properly throughout the space. We offer that design assistance.
Yeah, that next level of service that you provide, you've got many ventilation experts in the company, and they really can. We were talking about the Grant Park Underground in Chicago. That takes a real pro to properly ventilate that type of parking space, and we have all that support.
The food service industry is also, Mike, a place where we're pretty strong as far as exhaust fans for kitchen hoods or makeup air supply fans for kitchen hoods. Again, if you've got a customer in a bind, he's got a restaurant that's down, we can usually get that fan out as faster than anybody else.
Yeah, that's happening.
If you've got a guy with a pizza oven here in Chicago and now his exhaust fan is down, he needs a fan, doesn't really care what the price is, he just needs his fan. So we can get it to you. We can get it to your customer. As
the restaurant industry comes back from this past couple of years, I would imagine there'll be quite a lot of fans that don't turn back on or need some maintenance or service.
Yeah, there's no doubt there's going to be a lot of service work being done as restaurants either come back or new ones start up. I mean, if a lot of them went out of business, there's going to be new restaurants coming, and they're going to need the same type of ventilation products. Places where we kind of shine at S&P is warehouse ventilation. And it's a lot of the same type of fans you might use in a parking garage for warehouse ventilation. But now we're really just talking about air changes. How many air changes do you need in this warehouse per hour? And we can help you with that. We'll help you design with the proper sized fans, either for rooftop or sidewall, either one. We'll design that to give you the proper amount of air exchanges for your warehouse and meet code.
We have the high ventilation prop fans now. Is that?
That's true. We just added. HVLS, high velocity, low speed fans, similar to the big ass fans.
Yes.
We've got those now. We call them our Tempest and our Tornado. The Tempest is a 6-blade fan up to 16 feet, I think, and then the Tornado can go up to 30 foot in diameter. It's a 5-blade fan.
Yeah.
So now for air movement in large warehouses, gyms, other places where they need a large amount of air to just move, we've got those as well now. And then we also have ventilation solutions now that you can use in grow facilities. A lot of grow facilities will have a CO2 setup where they have a ventilation option. If the CO2 gets out of whack, dampers open, fans come on to evacuate the space. It's something that only happens temporarily and not very often, hopefully, but they've got to have it. They'll also do that kind of a flush when they harvest a crop in a room and they get the room ready for the next crop that's coming in. Again, they'll just wash out the air. They'll change the air out a few times, and that's a series of fans and louvers that open up. They're not used very often, but they've got to be there, and a lot of times we'll use something similar to a TD fan in that regard, just to exhaust maybe 1,500 CFM of air for a few minutes. I think what we've seen coming out of COVID, and this is probably true in Chicagoland as everywhere else, is that there's a lot of pent-up construction projects.
Yes.
Particularly multifamily projects. They're pent up for numerous reasons. Material shortages mostly.
Yeah.
Or just not able to get equipment, sometimes they're not able to get fans.
Yeah.
But the jobs are all held up. They should have gone by now, but I think they're all coming. And as lumber and steel get back under control, I think we're probably going to see a flood of that type of business. There's probably quite a few projects in the Chicago area. We've identified some of them.
Right.
And we need to be prepared for when that flood comes. I also think there's just a ton of commercial business in Chicago. There's just a ton of it, even if it's only the replacement business. If you could get a small portion of the replacement business in Chicago, you could live well.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot of fans in Chicago.
Well, after this recent pandemic, people are basically going to make sure their fans are operating the way they're supposed to. They may be adding a lot of fans, and they are certainly more aware of moving air than they have been in a long time. I think in the past maybe people would, cut some corners and say, I don't know how much air movement we need. That's really not the case moving forward. And the contractors can do a lot of design build work too, just small improvements to, businesses throughout Chicago.
Well, there's a lot of room for growth here. A lot of room for growth on the commercial side. I mean, the size of this market alone is, there's just a ton of room for commercial fan growth here in Chicago. And all we have to do is get the word out, let your customers know what's available from S&P, and, do a little bit better job with the engineers.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to capture a lot of that business.
Once we get Optisizer in all the right hands, the selection tool, it will speed things up.
That sure will help. About how easy it would be for one of your customers to sign up for his own Optisizer account. He just goes to the website which we can supply, and he clicks on get a username and just fills out the form online.
Yeah.
And then once he does that, he submits it. And then you and I will get a copy of that, and he'll be set up on Optisizer to start building fans and selling product.
And you can collaborate too with Optisizer.
Right, you can share with each other. He can share the job with you. He can share the job with me. We can share the jobs with each other and work on them together.
And even the end user or the engineer, and if the architect was interested. But yeah, it allows for some collaboration online and quick and very efficient to work with. Well, Jeff, thank you for coming to spend time with us this week in Chicago, and thanks for being on our second episode of Better Living Indoors. We really value and appreciate our relationship with you and with Solaire and Palau.
Well, I'm very glad to be here. Thanks for having me. And I look forward as well to continuing our long-term relationship.
Yeah.